The downtown Cavco is a staple of Los Santos, having been in constant service since 1922. However, it's gotten a bit of a bad rap for its drivers and their, well, general lack of driving skill, and I can't really disagree with that. Obviously. But in order to get a fair assessment, an unbiased assessment, I decided to take up the role as taxi driver and do some of my own fares. Now, in order to do that, we have to do a look back at the history of the downtown Cavco and compare the vehicles over time, starting out with one of their OG vehicles, the Classic Broadway. Sure, it's not very practical for a taxi, only being a two-door, 2+2 coupe. Not good for storage space or personnel space, but it is one of the first purpose-built taxis. And it looks damn good while doing it. They had some really good times with the sign department, putting flames on the hood and everything. That does not make a taxi good. It makes it entertaining to get into, but it does not make it a good taxi. So we need to see if it is a good taxi by doing a fare. I'm a little afraid of this, to be honest. It's old, it's from the 40s. And, whoa. It looks like it's wheeling, but all four wheels are definitely on the ground. That is how wobbly the suspension is. So, cornering is not going to be fun, and I had to get these totally real, not imaginary passengers to the destination at the golf course in record time so they can get that $1 million deal done. Because as we all know, that is where all politics and business deals are done, on golf courses. Just jumped a 1940s taxi. At least the suspension was soft to give it a nice cushy landing, but I'm a little concerned about everything else from the 40s, considering the hood is vibrating like mad at 90 miles an hour, and the rear is letting go because I'm on cross-fly white wall tires from the 40s, and they're very skinny. Excuse me, pardon me, out of the way. Oh, good God, this is terrifying. Ugh. You know what, to its credit, it's not the slowest vehicle in a straight line I've ever driven. It just has no handle. Don't do that! Ow! Well, it's a tough bogger. Ugh. Get on the road, we're good. Okay. Calm and composed. I know that's my fault, because I'm speeding like a maniac, but maybe use a turn signal. Just saying, genius. Not that I can, because this thing is very old-fashioned, and it's a little bit terrifying. I'm really focused on not dying here. But I can see the golf course. We just gotta go through the gap. We're almost there. And we're almost done driving this terrifying machine. At least it's terrifying at the speed. It looks very nice. And I'm sure it's very nice to drive at low speeds, but when you're doing it as a taxi, trying to get somewhere as efficiently as possible, it's a bit difficult. However, we have done it. Just about. Okay. Let's not do that again. But as America grew out of the World War II era and into the 1950s, the vehicles grew with it, both in terms of quantity and sheer size. The Willard Eudora can occupy 2 entire zip codes with its length. It's a massive machine. I absolutely love it. It looks fantastic. It's got the fins, it's still got the white wall, it's got the two-tone paint. It's super comfy, both in suspension and interior. It is everything you could want, which makes it a perfect taxi. I mean, if it can fit 3 full-size human dead bodies in the trunk, it can definitely fit a week's worth of luggage for your family. It's really the perfect taxi, in theory, because it's still a big land yacht from the 1950s, so I'm a little afraid in the similar problems from the Classic, only with a lot more horsepower. But here we go. We will have some advancements in suspension, not much, and we'll have some advancements in tires, but not much. And instead we are going to have a lot more weight and a lot more power and not much better brakes. So hopefully that goes well. Nope, it's not going well. It's immediately not going well. Jesus Christ. Ugh. I'm sure the occupants are fine. Of course, I might need new upholstery for all the vomit that's gonna be on these seats. Okay. It doesn't really stop. At all, actually. It's a twitchy bugger too, Jesus Christ. I took that corner flat out in the Classic. I know it's a lot slower than this, but for God's sake, Eudora, what are you doing? I think it's just the speed is so much faster, the technology of brakes and suspension have not advanced nearly enough for the power. And that makes it even more terrifying than the Broadway. Oh no, no, please don't do that. Oh, okay, I gotta go for the gap. Ugh. We just about made it. We're good. It's fine. No issues were had. We made it to the golf course. It's a tough vehicle. It's getting understeer. And we have arrived. I don't think I'm going to be getting a very high tip for that delivery. Oy vey. It's evolving just backwards. Which brings us to the modern era. I say modern, this is from 2004. A good old-fashioned vapid taxi. It's basically a purpose-built taxi, kind of based off of their road car, but, I mean, really it was a fleet vehicle first, production car second. So it should be pretty good at this. And it is a definite improvement compared to the Broadway and the Eudora. A definite improvement. The brakes are there. The suspension is lower. It's lighter. It's got a lazy but reliable V8 up front. I mean, it's a proper car, and it's still got seating in the back. I got a little mini fake blast shield here so that the customers don't try to stab me in the neck while I'm driving. All in all, it's an actually well thought out taxi. And it's smaller, but it doesn't really feel smaller. And it's more nimble, which means it's more efficient, and it's faster through the traffic. As you can tell, we are light years faster getting to the golf course. I can just chuck it in at full commitment, no real concern there. I mean, it's nice having a car that is able to turn, like that guy just did. And also, it's very good this vehicle still has body-on-frame construction, because that was a pretty heavy hit, and it just shrugged it off. This thing's an absolute tank. Look at that, we're practically already there. It's raining, but it doesn't matter, because the Vapid Taxi has arrived in pretty much good nick, barring a headlight. Definite improvement. So, taxi drivers these days certainly have it easier than their predecessors, but even today, in the Vapid Taxi, I still crash like a fool, which means that yes, we criticize the drivers of these taxis, rightly so, but we do have to bear in mind that their job is not as easy as it seems.